5 Longhorns heard their name in the 2015 NFL Draft.
Benches cleared over the weekend at the Dish.
Men's golf lit the Tower orange with another Big 12 championship.
All that and much more coming at you on College Press Box.
Welcome to College Press Box, a final episode of the semester, also known as the Senior Show. I'm your host, Taylor Smith, and I have co-host Jeff Barker with me here tonight. Jeff, graduation is right around the corner. Anything in the works after you graduate?
You know, Taylor, right now, funny that you ask, I'm technically unemployed. I don't really like that term, though. I like to think of myself as a free agent. You know, still haven't figured out who I'm going to sign with, where I'm going to land. Keeping my options open for the moment right now. What about you? You got anything ready?
I'm actually heading to Corpus to work for the AA affiliate of the Astros over the summer and look for that full-time job as well.
Hey, at least you got something lined up right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad about that. On Thursday, the National Football League started their 2015 draft with the first round live from Chicago and finished Saturday with round 7 broadcasted from teams' local markets. The Longhorns, who experienced 0 players selected for the first time since 1937 during last year's draft, were well represented this year with 5 Longhorn players hearing their name called. The Patriots, with the last and 32nd overall pick in the first round, selected defensive tackle Malcolm Brown. On Friday, the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Jordan Hicks with the 84th overall pick. Saturday was rounds 4 through 7 and represented moving days for 3 other Longhorns. Mikael Thompson went to the New York Giants, Quandre Diggs to the Detroit Lions, and Jeff Swam to the Dallas Cowboys.
There were also a number of significant Longhorns that did not hear their names called this weekend, but ultimately signed deals to join NFL teams for training camp. Running back Malcolm Brown will join the St. Louis Rams. Receiver John Harris is headed to Philly to play in Chip Kelly's innovative system. Receiver Jackson Shipley got picked up by the Cardinals. Big DN Ced Reed joins the former Longhorn Marquise Goodwin in Buffalo, and quite possibly the best story of them all is 34-year-old deep snapper and Green Beret Nate Boyer signing with the Seattle Seahawks. Now with that, we introduce you to 2 of our seniors that certainly will not go undrafted in the workforce come a couple weeks after graduation. We have Brooks Kubena and Peter Sblendorio in the studio tonight. Fellas, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us here. You got a regular Mel Kiper Jr., Todd McShay. We're ready to talk some NFL draft right here.
We got it all. Glad to have you guys. The one Longhorn that we knew would get drafted was defensive tackle Malcolm Brown. He had to wait a little bit longer than expected to hear his destiny. Brown was eventually selected with the last pick in the first round. Were you guys surprised to see Brown fall this far? Peter, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. He'd been kind of mocked somewhere in the middle of the first round in a lot of the mock drafts we were looking at. But regardless, this is great value for the Patriots, and I think it kind of works to Brown's favor. He's going to get to go to a great system there, a team that's won 4 championships under Bill Belichick. And, he replaces Vince Wilfork, who's been the long-time nose tackle there. I think he's going to fit in right away. He's a guy who has a lot of size. He can step in and stop the run. But he also gives teams a bonus as a pass rusher from the middle of the defensive line. I think they're going to love him in New England.
Yeah, it's a great spot for him to land in, a team that already just won a Super Bowl. Vince Wilfork also a gap for him to get playing time right away. I think the reason he ended up being dropping down to 32nd, obviously the drop of Leonard Williams. Nobody expected him to go as far to the Jets, backed up a lot of the picks for teams that needed defensive tackles. Thought you might have go to the Dallas Cowboys, but they went cornerback. They needed one. But all in all, I think the Patriots and Malcolm Brown get a good deal.
Yeah, he's going to fit in great there. They have a really good front 7. He's going to fit in with Jamie Collins. He's going to fit in with Chandler Jones. I think there's not a ton of pressure on him. He's going to do really well there. I'm very confident in that.
I think I would have to agree with Peter on he kind of got lucky falling so far because he gets to play with the defending champs and arguably maybe the best coach in the NFL. But after Brown, linebacker Jordan Hicks was drafted in the 3rd round to the Eagles. And then in rounds 5 through 7, Diggs, Thompson, and Swam got their call. Which of these three guys was the best steal?
Yeah, I mean, the best steal, I don't really think any of them were steals, honestly. I mean, Thompson probably would have gone undrafted. Diggs went right where he's expected to go. And Swaim, I'm not really sure if he was slotted to go ahead of the 7th round anyway. You know, I want to talk about Mykel Thompson just because he is on my New York Giants. I'm the resident Giants fan here, so I'll say this. I think he has the best chance to make an impact right away. They're a team that does not have a free safety returning from last year. Stevie Brown and Quentin Demps are both gone. He's not much of a playmaker. He doesn't really get a lot of receptions or forces fumbles or anything like that, but here's a guy who at least stays on his feet. He's somebody that can tackle. He's somebody who's not going to get overwhelmed by guys running around him. I think he'll be okay. You'd like to see his playmaking elevate a little bit, but he's somebody who might play right away before some of these other guys.
Yeah, I think Thompson, from his days at Texas, was a little bit out of position out of high school. He was a quarterback that ran for 2,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. You see that athleticism come from him. The Giants obviously had very little strong safety going into the draft, so they filled that need, maybe reached on him a bit. Jeff Swaim getting in on the final round of the draft. The Cowboys needing to get a little bit help on blocking side of it. I think helps him out on the line. Maybe he'll get a chance. He's got a good vertical. He showed that in pro day. Maybe he'll have a chance to go through. I like how Quandre takes his chances at Detroit. They're secondary. They're in a division where it's going to be a lot of slinging. I mean, that's where what Chicago's looking at, what Green Bay's been doing. You got to be able to find a way to stop these offenses in the north. Diggs is going to be a guy that can contribute in these nickel packages. I think we'll see something from him as well.
Well, and as you guys both alluded to, sometimes it's not always the best player that makes the biggest impact right away. A lot of times it's just the guy that gets picked in there to jump in and fill a need. So Mykel Thompson could be that guy. Maybe even Swaim as a blocking tight end. He improved a little bit as a receiver this year. But guys, as we talked about earlier, there were a grip of undrafted Longhorns that signed NFL deals after the draft. What do you guys expect to see from a few of these guys?
I'm really excited to see what Jackson Shipley does. Now, we don't really know who Jackson Shipley is right now.
No.
He's come through. He's played with 4 quarterbacks in 4 years. I mean, that's not really fair to him. I remember back in high school, his freshman and sophomore years, I'm a pretty good source for this because I went to high school with him there at Coppell, but I remember the buzz around him was he could be better than his brother Jordan. And Jordan had a better opportunity because he played with Colt McCoy, and he got drafted in the 4th round. And he had some knee injuries that kind of derailed him. But I think you look at Jackson, somebody who is extremely productive, put up, honestly, historical stats here at Texas despite having 4 different quarterbacks in 4 years. You're going to see him go to Arizona, a team that likes to pass the ball, but also a team that could use receiver help with Larry Fitzgerald getting a little bit older. I think he has a good chance to make an impression in the slot for that team.
I think so, too. Yeah. Arizona is a nice place for them. Carson Palmer looking to spread out some things offensively. But a guy that I'm looking at, Malcolm Brown, the running back, getting a chance to go over to St. Louis. I think with the running backs there, you have Todd Gurley there. Obviously, they wouldn't have picked him up in free agency if they weren't a little nervous about his injury prone. I mean, last year, being out for the rest of the season with that knee, I think he's a guy who has a lot of potential going into this draft. We've seen this happen in Texas before. I mean, back in 1997, guy Priest Holmes played on an offensive line that wasn't as good. It's kind of what Malcolm Brown had. Went and played with Baltimore, later broke out against Kansas City. More recently, Fozzie Whitaker getting a chance to bust through with Carolina. He's going to have his chance to bump around. I don't know if it'll be at St. Louis, but he'll show what he can in practice as they start in August. And I think he'll end up somewhere.
Right, and don't forget, Malcolm Brown was the top recruit coming into high school in 2010. I mean, this guy is somebody with some serious talent. They traded Zach Stacy, the Rams did. He might have a chance to be Gurley's backup day one if he can really impress in spring training.
Thanks for hearing from you guys. I'd have to agree with both of those players, but I myself am excited to see what Nate Boyer has to do in Seattle. He's kind of always been that guy that every time someone tells him he can't do something, he always ends up doing it. So pretty excited to see what he'll do in training camp. But thank you, Peter and Brooks, for your NFL football insight. College Press Box was lucky to hear from y'all one last time.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Such a pleasure. Been a great 4 years, guys. Let's ride.
Thanks, fellas.
Up next, we look at baseball's weekend against Tech and softball games in Stillwater. Stay tuned.
Going along here tonight on College Press Box. We thank you for joining us tonight here on the show. The Texas baseball team hosted Texas Tech, needing at the very least a series win to improve their postseason chances. The Longhorns got off to a good start in Friday's opener, beating Tech 3-0 behind a solid pitching performance from the ace of the staff, Parker French. However, the weekend did not treat the Horns as well, dropping Game 2 9-1 and Game 3 5-1. They have 4 games left leading up to the Big 12 tournament, a Tuesday matchup against Texas State at home tomorrow night, and a weekend series on the road at Baylor.
And senior Alex Wilkins joins us in studio to talk Texas baseball. Alex, this is definitely not what the Longhorn fans expected to see out of their baseball team this year. What happened? They were so close last year in Omaha, but totally fell apart this year.
Well, first and foremost, the problem really came with they haven't had any quality at bats. I mean, this is an offense that has been struggling all season, especially against Tech. That was a perfect example of how this season has gone. On Sunday, they left 13 runners on base. They're just not capitalizing on those opportunities. Even though they focused on trying to improve their batting average, they're still leaving those runners at base. And then also their best hitter right now is Ben Johnson, batting over 300, but yet at the same time, there's not able to do anything with it. No other player is batting above 300. And then on the other side, we've got pitching. And with pitching, there hasn't been any type of no one's stepping up. We've had a lot of injuries that have plagued the team. They started out with such a strong bullpen, but now Casey Clemens is gone, Morgan Cooper is gone, Chad Hollingsworth, he was gone for a little bit, now he's back, but then he came back against Tech, let a grand slam happen. So we haven't seen a lot on either side of the ball, but then just overall, it's just they're not capitalizing on opportunities and they're giving up games late in the series.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. They're struggling at the plate this year, just like they did last year a little bit. But it's that pitching staff outside of Parker French. They really don't have anyone that they can go to. No go-to starter besides French, really. That's what they had last year that I think helped the Longhorns get past the bats being a little bit slow. But simple question here, Alex, before we let you go. Will the Longhorns make the NCAA tournament?
Honestly, I don't think so, Jeff. Realistically speaking, they would have to win the Big 12 tournament. And right now, at this point, they're not even guaranteed to qualify for the Big 12 tournament. And Augie said on Saturday, I've talked to someone on the selection committee, and if we are able to keep winning, then we're still on the radar. But then they went and lost to Tech 5-1 the next day. So they're not even winning these crucial home games. Now they have to take on Texas State, which will be at home, but then they have to go and play against Baylor in 2 weekends. So it's going to be a tough future ahead, and I don't know if going into the Big 12 tournament, it's going to be a quick turnaround, and things aren't looking great for the Longhorns.
Well, thank you, Alex. I would have to agree with you on that one. I think the Longhorns need to win out and then win the Big 12 championship to even have a chance of possibly making the NCAA tournament. And from what we saw on Saturday and Sunday, I just don't really think that's possible. And Alex, it was really great having your baseball insight on the show one last time.
Thank you. It's been a great 4 years.
The Longhorns softball team traveled to Stillwater this past weekend to play Oklahoma State. They finished the weekend 3-0, only allowing 2 runs all weekend while scoring 27. On Friday, freshman Erica Wright pitched a 1-hit shutout, and the Longhorns won 11-0 in 5 innings. Stephanie Seo went 2 for 2 with her first career grand slam. On Saturday, Tierra Davis threw a shutout as well. The Longhorns won 9-0 in 5 innings. With this win, the 2015 Longhorns became the first Texas team to win 12 road games in a single campaign. The Horns finished the weekend strong on Sunday behind pitcher Erica Wright again. They recorded a weekend-high 13 hits, winning the game 7-2. The Longhorns travel to Waco on Wednesday and host Baylor this weekend to finish their regular season play. Now we have Tierra Neubaum in studio to talk softball with us. Tierra, how are you?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Tierra, we'll start off with this. Good stuff from the Longhorns this past weekend. They swept Oklahoma State in Stillwater. What are your takeaways from the series?
Well, granted, OSU isn't doing well in Big 12 play. This was, like you said, though, a good win for the Longhorns as they made history up in Stillwater. The win concealed 13 victories on the road for Texas softball this season, which is a program best. Some key offensive players in that Game 3 to get the sweep were sophomore shortstop Devin Tunning and senior right fielder Marley Gabaldon. And they led a 13-hit offensive attack, each with 3 hits. Tunning went 3 for 4 with runs scored, her 6th homer of the season and had 2 RBIs. Gabaldon was 3 for 4 and had an RBI. And then on the defensive side, freshman Erica Wright dominant in the circle all weekend. Junior second baseman Stephanie Seo hit home runs in game 1 and 2, one of which was a grand slam. So I think this domination against OSU will give the team confidence going into this weekend's series against Baylor.
I would have to agree with you that on Tierra. Baylor is ranked just ahead of the Longhorns in Big 12 standings, but that offensive attack we saw this past weekend should really help them this coming weekend. So with the regular season coming to an end, the Longhorns have a current record of 10-5 in Big 12 play. Who stood out to you this season, Tierra?
Well, I would have to say freshman pitcher Erica Wright. She has been dominant in this circle all season long, offensively as well. She has a 16-6 record, a 2.35 ERA. She has the most innings pitched, has thrown over 150 strikes, 160 to be exact. And just last month, she posted a career-long scoreless streak from the circle for 15 innings. I mean, just this past weekend, we saw in OSU, against OSU, she won 11-0 and 7-2. Huge asset for the softball team, and I think as long as she stays healthy, she will continue to be for the next 3 years.
All right, Tierra, well, thank you for joining us on the program one last time. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been fun.
Well, time to take another break here on College Press Box. We'll be back with more in just a few minutes.
Welcome back and thanks for watching College Press Box final show of the semester. The Texas men's golf team won the Big 12 championship last week, finishing 24 strokes ahead of second place Texas Tech. Freshman Scotty Scheffler finished par for the tournament, earning medalist honors. The Horns earned a #1 seed in the NCAA Regional May 14th through 16th in Lubbock, and Scheffler has earned the National Amateur of the Month award.
The Texas men's tennis team will host the first and second rounds of the NCAA championship starting May 8th. This is the 24th straight tournament bid for the Longhorns, and they will compete as the #9 seed. UT Athletics hosted their 41st annual Longhorn Honors Women's Athletics Award ceremony last week. The volleyball team took home the Team of the Year award. The Longhorn Athlete of the Year award went to track star Courtney Okolo, and the women's basketball team was honored with the Jamie Carey Comeback Award.
The Texas track and field team hosted the Longhorn Invitational this weekend, giving athletes a final chance to run and throw before the Big 12 championships. The Longhorns won 4 women's events and 3 men's. Men's pole vaulter Reese Watson cleared 5.6 meters, marking a personal best and ranking him 3rd in school history. Women's hurdler Morgan Snow won the 100-meter hurdles, giving her back-to-back wins. Track and field are off this weekend as they prepare for the Big 12 Conference Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Ames, Iowa, May 15th through the 17th.
The #11 ranked Longhorns rowing team hosted their lone home meet of the semester this Saturday. Hosting the University of San Diego Toreros, Texas swept all 3 races in convincing fashion and will take a 2-week break before competing in the Big 12 Championship on May 16th and 17th in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Last break of the night here on College Press Box. When we come back, we'll let you know what's going on this week in Longhorn sports. Stay tuned.
Welcome back and thanks for watching what will be Jeff and I's last segment on College Press Box. Jeff, how do you feel about this?
It's been a fun ride, Taylor. One more time for old time's sake, let's let the folks know what's going on in Longhorn sports this week. Tomorrow night, that's May the 5th, baseball will be at Texas State, 6 p.m. on Longhorn Network. Wednesday the 6th, softball at Baylor, 7 p.m. on Longhorn Network. And Thursday the 7th, women's golf at the NCAA Regional Championship. That's going on in San Antonio all day.
On Friday, men's tennis will play Navy at the Caswell Tennis Center at 1 p.m. and women's golf is still playing in San Antonio in the NCAA Regional. On Saturday, men's tennis will play California and Texas A&M Corpus Christi at 1 p.m.
One more thing to leave you all with before we sign off. Thanks to the hard work of our producers Renee Moreno and Joshua Blunt, here's a special senior tribute that they made for us.
Go ahead.
Definitely. Taylor?
I'd say my takeaways for the game is the offense is still struggling. Without Espinoza on the line, it looks like we're having trouble creating holes for the running game. And this was easily Swoop's most efficient game of the season. He was 24 for 33 with a 72.7 completion percentage. We saw a pretty even day stats-wise between the two, and honestly, it's kind of sad that we haven't seen a standout quarterback yet. And I really hope we have one going into Notre Dame next fall, because I feel like it would be pretty scary to go up there without a for sure quarterback. Good evening, and thanks for watching College Press Box tonight. I'm your host, Taylor Smith.
In the Wu-Tang costume, Alex Wilkins. Alex, how you doing? Also your first time on Crossfire.
It is my first time. Thank you. I'm glad to
Wonderful.
be here. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Football. I'm your host, Alex Wilkins. Well, I think this was a huge win for this Texas team. First of all, we got to see a glimpse kind of into this future of Texas with Charlie Strong. Welcome back to College Press Box. I promise our show won't be all bad news, but for now, some disappointing losses for Texas hoops this weekend. Well, the Texas football team is about to get started with conference play, but before that, we went to the 40 acres to see where students stand on this team, as well as a few others.
Welcome inside the Sblendorio suite. We hope you took advantage of the free valet parking out front. There's not a lot of RBI up and down this lineup, and the pitching's been great, but I think that their inability to win some of these conference games just shows that they haven't been able to score enough runs to do it. I have a little trepidation for one reason. He's been there 6 years and he's never won a conference title. I also saw that West Virginia has a chance to play spoiler a lot this year. Of course,
this Sblendorio suite, not so much a physical place as much as it is a state of mind.
if you lose a game, that's fine. It's one game. It's one game. It's a long season. What are you going to learn from this?
Hello, everyone. Brooks Kubena here alongside. After the final pitch is thrown, the alumni will head back to their new teams, their new families, leaving the future of Texas baseball in the hand of the current players. And Reagan, though they haven't been looking as good as all the other teams in the district, there's no reason why they can't come up and jump on Travis.
Who do you got? Of course, the trash can picks OU.
It's been such a good time.
What about me?
What, Cameron? What is this? What is this? That's not my name. That's not my name. Renee! Renee!
The next time Texas takes home court, they'll be joined by Mike Kabongo. We just watched the Duck Commander 500. What a performance from these guys, and especially Jimmy Johnson. He got his 5th victory at Texas. Texas starts off their Saturday afternoon with a no-hit performance in a grand. Though Isaiah Taylor had 23 points, Texas could not respond in the second half. Welcome back to College Press Box. It's time to talk about the Texas volleyball team. The reigning national champions have already started the season with 2 losses.
Welcome to College Crossfire. Thanks for joining us for our first show of the fall semester. I'm your new host, Jeff Barker. Happy Halloween from Steve Patterson, Augie Garrido, Charlie Strong, and a random game day pledge. Well, it's College Crossfire. Stay tuned. Thank you again, Camille and Reese. Ready to talk some Big 12 football. Let's get into it. After the loss to OU, the Longhorns sit at 2-4 on the regular season and will almost certainly be fighting to become bowl eligible by the end. I know what you're all thinking, but no, this is not an April Fool's joke. The stools are gone and we're trying something new here. Well, thank you, Renee and Josh, for that. We really appreciate it. Guys, appreciate everything you guys have done for us. We got a couple more minutes here, so we brought everyone back. Any parting words from anyone before we sign off for the night?
It truly has been a great experience, and I'm so blessed to have all of these people as my friends now and to have made so many memories with them at TSTV.
Really have made some lifelong friends. It's been fun covering sports with you guys and just hanging out too, broing out. I'm all in.
All the above.
I'm all in.
It's been great to spend my senior year with all you guys, and I'm so glad for making it a wonderful senior year.
It's been real. I've been here for 2 years, and it was awesome. Thanks for putting up with me whenever I had no idea what I was doing. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm the early graduate, so I get to dangle the mic for a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad to have spent the time I could with you guys. We've done so many shows together and get together and talk sports. It's fun, and I hope we all, use this head start we have to do it for life.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know we're all going to do big things here. It's been a great 3 years for me. I've had a pleasure working with you guys. It's been great, and we can say here, no tears, guys, on this year's senior show. Couldn't say that with Jordan and Bailey last year. But yeah, thanks to those guys that came before us and set the way for us. And guys, that's going to do it here. That's all we have for you guys for tonight's senior show. Thank you everyone for tuning in to our last episode of the semester. And special thanks again to everyone in the studio, Master Control, our fellow seniors here. For Jeff Barker, I'm Jeff Barker. For Tierra Neubaum, Peter Sblendorio, Alex Wilkins, Taylor Smith, and Brooks Kubena, signing off.